Hey everyone, my name is Amanda. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be doing some canning, and we are going to be making bruschetta in a jar and also canning up some banana peppers. I'm really excited about this. I really love to use the bruschetta in a jar in a lot of things when I cook throughout the year, either by putting it on chicken or just having bruschetta in a jar and having it with some bread. So let's go ahead and start canning. Okay, so for bruschetta in a jar, we're going to go ahead and use some Roma tomatoes. I'm really excited about this because normally I always just use like a mixture of tomatoes. They do suggest using plum tomatoes for this recipe, but I have used all kinds of tomatoes. I mean, even grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I've used all kinds of tomatoes in this one, so you can really get away with doing different types of tomatoes. But I'm excited because I have an abundance of Roma tomatoes, and I'm gonna go ahead and use these in that recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop all these up. They're really pretty. Your tomatoes are all washed up. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 Roma tomatoes. And they are all washed up. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the stem off. And then we're gonna make them into like nice, like, you know, diced sizes. Cut around the stem. My favorite to do with bruschetta in the jar is have my husband grill up some chicken, and then I'll heat the bruschetta up in a saucepan, and then we'll pour it over top the chicken and serve it with white rice, and we'll either do broccoli or French style green beans, and it is just so tasty. While I am cutting these up, my jars are actually finishing up in the dishwasher. They're getting nice and clean, so that way they are nice and warm for when I put my tomatoes in the jars. Also, another fun way to use this is to put the chicken in the crock pot and then pour this over top of the chicken and cook the chicken on low for a good 6 hours. And then it's so nice and tasty, and then serve it again with white rice, or you can do like baked potatoes and then your veggie of choice. All right, they are now all cut up. 17 Roma tomatoes. Look how beautiful those look. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the next step. Okay, now that our Roma tomatoes are all cut up, we're gonna go ahead and make our hot vinegar mixture, and we're gonna double this recipe because I have 17 Roma tomatoes, and if I have any extra liquid over, then I'll go ahead and pack another jar with some random tomatoes just to use up the liquid. But I'd rather be on the safe side since I have 17 Roma tomatoes. So we're gonna go ahead and start with cutting up 10 garlic cloves, and we're gonna mince them up this time. So let's get those going. Bruschetta in the jar is also perfect for when you're throwing a party or a small get-together or for a family appetizer. If you want something nice and easy just to pull together, you just open this jar up, put it in a nice plate it pretty, and if you have some fresh basil to garnish it on top and make it look really beautiful, and then just serve it with some bread. It is perfect for a party. It's perfect for Christmas time because of the red tone colors. It's just beautiful. You can put it on a plate or put it in a bowl, or even get a baguette and make them sliced and toast it up and then put the bruschetta on individually, and that looks pretty as well. But either or, it's perfect and it is so tasty. Now I have 12 garlic cloves, but they're kind of all different sizes. So I know I said 10. I just want to go ahead and use these up since it just took a whole garlic bulb. So we're just going to use all 12 of these. There's nothing wrong with a little extra garlic. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and mince up the garlic. For this recipe, I have always used fresh garlic. I have never used just minced garlic that you get in a jar. I've always done the fresh. I will definitely put the recipe in the description box down below so that way you can make this as well. It is definitely something to make if you are a gardener and you like to can. It is really good. Okay, so you're going to need 2 cups of dry white wine, and I am using a Chardonnay, and here is what I am using. So we're going to use 2 cups of it. Now we're going to need 2 cups of white vinegar. I meant to say white wine vinegar, not white vinegar. And here's what I'm using for white wine vinegar, and it does have a 5 acid strength, is what you are looking for when you can, and you can find it on the back of that one, so that way this is a good one to use. So we need 2 cups of that. Okay, so 2 cups of white wine vinegar, and definitely make sure it has 5% acidity for when you can, because it definitely helps preserve it. It's the proper way. All right, so 2 cups of that. 1 cup water. We're gonna need 4 tablespoons of white sugar. I love that I just keep 1 measuring spoon. That's an actual tablespoon in my sugar. Works out perfect. So we need 4 of these. 4 tablespoons of white sugar. We need 4 tablespoons of dried basil, and I'm using the basil from my garden, and I actually got some more not too long ago that I dried up. So I'm really excited to have some more. And so let's get 4 tablespoons of this. Next year, I need to grow more basil than what I grew this year. I still have quite a bit out in the garden, but I'm not nearly as close to where I want to be for this jar being filled. I know I'm still using it while I'm trying to fill it. I definitely use basil quite a bit in recipes throughout the year. So next year, I'm definitely going to be planting more basil seeds. Now we need 4 tablespoons of oregano, and again, I'm using from my garden as well. 2, let me get some more. Okay, so I don't have any more of the stuff from my garden, so I'm just gonna use oregano that I got from Costco, so I just need 2 more tablespoons of it. And then it's okay, I've done this before too in the past, just using the stuff that I have from the store-bought. All right, so now I have 4 total tablespoons of oregano. Okay, so now we need 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, and here's what I use for balsamic vinegar. I really love this brand. My husband and I really like this one, and it is my go-to for cooking. So now we need 4 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and add in the garlic. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and bring this to a boil over high heat. And we're gonna stir it occasionally. Once we get this to a full boil, we're then gonna reduce the heat, and we're gonna cover it with a lid and boil it gently. And we're gonna do that for 5 minutes until the garlic is heated through. Then we're gonna remove it from the heat. My jars are still finishing up in the dishwasher, so we'll be back to check on this. Still waiting for this to come to a boil, but my jars are done, and I'm gonna go ahead and start packing those with the Roma tomatoes. So that is still coming to a boil, and my jars are clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and start packing them in with the Roma tomatoes. Now when I'm scooping these out, I don't want all this juice in here on the bottom, so I'm just kind of making sure the juice drips out. So I should be better. It's now at a good boil. We're gonna go ahead and give it a stir, and we're gonna reduce the heat and put the lid on. This way it helps cook the garlic. I'm putting it at low. Now that we're waiting for the 5 minutes for this, I already washed up my banana peppers. I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing them up to the sizes I want for my banana peppers. So that way when I start water bathing everything, it's already kind of going at the same time with my jars. I have 26 banana peppers. These ones I don't need to use the gloves with because these ones don't burn like some of the other ones do. And I'm not taking the seeds out. I like having a few jars of these throughout the year so that way when we have a salad, we can just put some of these on top. Sometimes I just like taking them fresh right off the plant in the summertime and putting them on a salad, or making like a cucumber tomato salad and cutting up a few of these and throwing them in there as well, just to add some more flavor and color to it. It is really pretty that way. Okay, my hot vinegar is ready, so now I'm going to go ahead and put it into my tomato jars. When filling the hot vinegar into the tomato jars, you definitely want to leave a 1/2 inch headspace so when you can, it will seal properly. I have some hot vinegar left over, so I'm going to go ahead and wash up some tomatoes and fill a jar because I think I'll have enough just for one more big jar. So I have 16 large cherry tomatoes, so I'm going to go ahead and use those up and put that in one jar to use up the rest of the hot vinegar. Now I'm just going to cut these in half, and that way I can use this with a dish with chicken. This is really tasty over chicken. Grill up some chicken, heat this on a pan, or put it all in the crock pot and heat it up with the tomatoes, and it's so good. I've done it with pork. It is so delicious. I do have a video that I posted previously called Slow Cooker Gluten-Free Bruschetta Pork Loin, and I used this recipe for the bruschetta in that video, and it's showing you how I did that, and it is really tasty. I love that you can put it in the crock pot. You can just, there's so many things you can do with it. I mean, even just open the jar up, leave it as is, don't even have to heat it up, and have it with bread. It's tasty. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and put some of the hot vinegar in there. Okay, looks like I can get maybe one more jar, so let me see what else I have for other tomatoes. I'll be right back. I want to say that these are cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes that I have here. I normally try to save the smaller ones to use for salads here in the house, but I have also used them in the bruschettas in the past that I have canned. So I'm going to go ahead and use these up because I'm trying to keep them similar in size in the jars for when I can them up. Yay! Perfect. This is what I have left. Oh, all that good stuff though. I'm going to see if I can try to even that out into some of the other ones because that's a lot of good herbs. Okay, so now I'm going to heat up my water in my measuring cup so that way I can go ahead and put the lids in there and start getting those going. So I'm going to do 3 minutes on that. This is what the bottom of my rack looks like that I put in the bottom of my water bath canning pot that I use. So that way it's got these like little feet on the bottom. So when you put your glass jars on top, they're not sitting directly on top of the pot on the bottom. So that's going in on the very bottom. Okay, I got my pot full of water. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it to high. I wanted to do everything at the same time with heating the jars up, but got a little distracted. Baby woke up, baby got back down to sleep. So anyways, it happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my water out. And I'm gonna go ahead and put 6 lids in the water, and I'm gonna let it rest in there for 3 minutes. All right, I'm gonna wipe down my jars. That one looks like it has a little bit too much, so I'm gonna help remove some liquid from that one. And you want a 1/2 inch headspace Like I was saying earlier in one of my other canning videos, you really start to learn to eye it out as you go with the measurements for, you know, how much you need. And my water is heating up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and re-wipe. I'm gonna do the wipe it with the wet first and then go back through and dry. They look so beautiful. Here's the measuring tool. So we need a half. I'm gonna take a little bit more liquid out. Oh, there goes my timer for my lids. Okay, go back through, re-wipe. And then you're just gonna do finger tight, hand tight. You don't want to be too tight. I wasn't sure how many jars I would need, so I definitely did extra just in case. And there's nothing wrong with doing extra just in case. I certainly had a lot of tomatoes. I still have more tomatoes. I'm probably gonna make either pasta sauce or more salsa. I haven't decided yet. Really waiting on more habaneros to turn to a pretty reddish orange color. But these are going to be great for dinner or as an appetizer. Okay, while we're waiting for the water to come to a boil, I just really want to show you how beautiful this looks. I mean, it's going to be so tasty. It's really tasty over chicken. I love how it looks. I've not, you know, put them in the water bath so I can move them around, but definitely once you do seal the lids, don't move them for 24 hours. Let them rest. Definitely leave them on your counter space 24 hours. Okay, while we're waiting for the water to start boiling, we're gonna go ahead and start stuffing our jars with the banana peppers. That way I can figure out how much liquid I need in the meantime. Cut up 26 banana peppers. I love these on salads. My husband does too. Now you can take the seeds out if you want to. I left the seeds in, doesn't matter. Sometimes I like doing the smaller jars because then it's like, you know, it's only between me and my husband that really eat these, so. But I want to save my smaller jars for when it's fig season because I keep seeing so many figs out there. All right, so I'm just gonna equal those up and that looks great. Okay, we are still waiting for the water to come to a boil, so we're gonna go ahead and make our brine for our banana peppers, and you're gonna need 3 garlic cloves, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in the pot. You could mince it up. I'm leaving mine whole, and I'm actually gonna cut one of my garlics in half so that way it splits between the 2 jars when I go ahead and put the brine in. So let me go ahead and cut that in half real fast. 1 cup of water, we're gonna go ahead and add that. You need 2 cups of distilled white vinegar, and remember, like I said, it needs to be a 5 acidity level, so we're gonna go ahead and do 2 cups of that. And we're gonna go ahead and pour that right on in. We need 1 tablespoon of pickling salt. 1/2 tablespoon of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of mustard, oh no, sorry, 1 teaspoon of celery seed. Here's what it looks like, celery seed. So 1 teaspoon of that. It smells really good. 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. And we need 1 teaspoon of black peppercorn. Here's black peppercorn. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and bring that to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, then we're gonna remove it from the heat. In the meantime, I'm actually gonna add some pickling crisp granules, and I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to add it to the 2 jars that have the banana peppers. Here's what my brine looks like. This is for the banana peppers, and we want to bring it to a boil. All right, it's coming to a good boil. Alright, so it's at a good boil, and I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the heat now. My water is finally to a boil. So I have 6 jars for the tomatoes, and they actually need to go into the hot water for 20 minutes, and then we remove the lid for 5 minutes. So it's 25 minutes to do this, and I can only fit 5 jars in at once, so we're going to split that up and do 3 jars and then do the next 3 jars. So that's going to take a while, but it will be worth it. So let's go ahead and get the first 3, and let me get a pot holder. Always tilt your lid too, because all the extra water comes out. So. And my brine for the banana peppers is coming, I'm letting it cool down before I add the liquid. All right, in goes the first one. And let me show you too how I have them placed in there. It looks. I have 3 in there, and now I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on. Let it come back to a boil and set my timer for 20 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my brine in, and again I split up the garlic so that way they would both get 2 chunks of garlic in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in.
Now the reason why I also let my brine cool down was because I'm kind of treating this kind of like how I make pickles. I don't want a soft and mushy banana pepper to go on top of my salad. I want it to have a little bit of a crunch. So not only did I let it cool down, but I also added the pickle crisp granules as well. So basically I'm just kind of treating it like how I make pickles. It'll be perfect.
All right, I'm just going to remove some of the liquid from that one. And this one you want a 1/2 inch of headspace as well. Perfect. I still have all that left over from the brine. I wipe these ones down as well. You can wipe with white vinegar if you want to, or water. I've seen people do both. Do what you want to do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and heat my measuring cup up for 3 minutes. My water is boiling, it's great. I'm excited, so I just have to remember to change the timer on that. Oh, and my littlest just woke up from his nap. I'll be right back. My microwave just went off for the 3 minutes. I need to remember to set my timer back for the water bath method. And now that my water is heated up, I'm gonna go ahead and put the 2 lids in it that I need for the banana peppers. Yes, hi. Hi. I have my littlest in the kitchen with me. He just woke up from a nap. Was it a good nap? Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna wait for those 3 minutes to go, and then I'll show you the next step.
The lids have been in the water for 3 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and put them on, put the ring on, and I'm going to twist it. You don't want to make it too tight, just hand tight. And that way then these are ready to go into the water bath once the bruschetta in the jar is done. They smell really good. They look perfect. I can't wait.
Okay, my timer is about to go off. There it is. We are going to remove the lid. We are not turning the water off. We're going to let it sit for 5 minutes. All right, so I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And then I can remove the jars and then repeat the process for the next 3 bruschetta in a jar. They're going to be really good. 5 minutes went up. We're going to go ahead and remove these. Hi, Connor. Okay, you're going to want to make an area that you can leave them for 24 hours. And you're going to want to start hearing them pop within those 12 to 24 hours. Sometimes I hear them right away pop. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the next ones in. And we're basically just repeating the steps. And when the cans are in the water, you want to make sure there's at least a good 1 to 2 inch of water above the jars, so that way it definitely seals the lid. You want that to happen. All right, so they're back there laughing. All right, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and bring this back to a roiling boil, and then I'm gonna set the timer for 20 minutes. Okay, my timer just went off, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the lid and then set the timer for 5 minutes. Remember, leave the stove on. And we'll be back in 5 minutes and I'll remove the jars. All right, my timer just went off and we're gonna go ahead and remove these jars. This is the last for the tomatoes, bruschetta in a jar. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do the banana peppers in here. And I only have 2 of them, so we're gonna go ahead and put those in. I'm gonna add a little bit more water because a lot of it splashed out and that happens, so let me add some more water. And that's normal for the water to splash out because it's so hot. The water is just extremely boiling. So since I added more water to it, we're gonna bring this back to a boil, and then I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna put the lid on, keep an eye on it for it to come back to a boil, and then I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes, okay? My timer just went off for the 10 minutes for the banana peppers to be in the water bath method in the pot. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the thing completely off, and we're gonna let it rest for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes, and then we can remove them, and then we're done. Okay, my 5-minute timer just went off. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the banana peppers, and we're all done. So let the jars rest for 24 hours on the counter. I have already started hearing some pop, which is awesome. And don't write on the jars until 24 hours is up. And I actually tried a banana pepper before I put the lid on top, and it was really good. So, oh, I'm excited. Anyways, we are all done with canning. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe.